Welcome to the channel. Today, we're exploring the Lincoln Wheat Penny, one of the most iconic coins in American history. With its classic design and rich story, this little penny has captured the hearts of collectors everywhere. Whether you're just starting out or a longtime fan, there's plenty to learn about these fascinating coins. Let's dive in and discover what makes the Lincoln Wheat Penny so special. First up, the 1916 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark in bad condition, may not seem like a treasure at first glance, but for serious collectors, it is a coin of immense historical and monetary value. Recently, one such example shocked the numismatic community when it sold for an incredible $935,000 at a prestigious auction. This sale was not just about the age of the coin, but the combination of scarcity, historical context, and unique characteristics that made it one of the most desirable Lincoln cents ever offered to the market. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, was revolutionary for its time, as it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than symbolic figures. On the obverse side, the portrait of Lincoln faces right with the word liberty to his left and the date to his right. Above is the phrase "In God We Trust." The reverse carries two stylized wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent and the country's name, United States of America, along with the Latin motto E Pluribus Unum. The year 1916 was an important one in American history, as the country was on the brink of joining World War I. Economic and political tensions influenced minting, production, and coin circulation patterns. At the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, coins were struck in significant quantities, with more than 131 million Lincoln cents minted that year. While this figure seems large, the survival rate of coins in collectible condition, especially after more than a century, is surprisingly low. The majority were heavily circulated, worn down, and in many cases lost or destroyed. What makes the 1916 no mint mark penny in bad condition so valuable is not simply its age, but the rare die variety and historical context that this particular example represents. The coin that sold for $935,000 had a notable die clash error, where elements of the reverse design faintly appeared on the obverse due to the dies striking without a planchet between them. At some point in the production process, die clash marks are usually considered minor, but in rare early 20th century examples, they become highly desirable because they showcase the minting process imperfections. Even though the coin's condition was classified as bad with significant wear scratches and discoloration, the unique die clash, along with its full authenticity and originality, turned it into a once-in-a-lifetime find. Another reason for its extreme value lies in collector psychology. Numismatists know that even coins in poor condition can be worth substantial amounts if they are tied to rare varieties, minting errors, or historical provenance. This 1916 wheat penny was part of an old estate collection where it had been stored for decades in a small tin box along with other early 20th century coins. Its original patina had developed a dark brown hue with areas of uneven toning, yet the date and major design elements were still visible enough for expert verification. The market for rare Lincoln cents has always been strong, but in recent years, it has reached new heights as more collectors enter the hobby and high-grade or rare error examples become increasingly scarce. High-profile auction results like this create excitement and drive further interest in early dates, such as the 1916 no mint mark. While a common example in average circulated condition might only be worth a few dollars, the one with the rare die clash and documented provenance captured attention far beyond the typical penny collector base. What adds to the intrigue is the historical snapshot this coin provides. In 1916, the U.S. Mint still relied on manual quality control processes, which were far from perfect. The occurrence of a die clash that remained in production long enough to create a small batch of coins means that some of these rarities could still be undiscovered in collections or even in change jars. This possibility keeps collectors actively searching and makes every Lincoln penny from this era worth inspecting closely. The beer who paid $935,000 for this coin was reportedly a private collector specializing in error coins from the first half of the 20th century. His acquisition not only set a new price record for a bad-condition Lincoln wheat penny, but also reinforced the idea that numismatic value is not solely determined by physical condition. Rarity combined with an unusual production story can rival, or even surpass the value of pristine examples. In conclusion, the 1916 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark in bad condition, is a perfect example of how the numismatic market rewards history, rarity, and uniqueness. Its extraordinary auction price of $935,000 reflects not only its scarcity, but also the deep appreciation collectors have for coins that tell a rich story. This piece stands as a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, even the most worn and humble-looking penny can hold a place among the most valuable treasures ever struck by the United States Mint. Next up we have the 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark in circulated condition is a coin that has stunned the numismatic world with its remarkable value despite its visibly worn state. This particular example fetched an astonishing $9 for $7,000 at a recent high-profile auction, proving that age alone is not the only factor driving collector demand. Instead, it is the combination of rarity, special characteristics, and historical context that has turned this modest copper coin into one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin collecting. The Lincoln wheat penny series, designed by Victor David Brenner, made its debut in 1909 and has since become one of the most collected coin series in the world. By 1937, the design was already well established, featuring the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the word Liberty to the left and the date to the right, accompanied by the D mint mark below indicating that it was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse of the coin displays two stylized wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent along with the country's name, United States of America, and the Latin motto E pluribus unum. In 1937, the Denver Mint produced more than 50 million Lincoln wheat pennies, which on the surface might suggest that the coin is relatively common. However, the reality is that the vast majority of these coins were heavily used in everyday commerce and few survived with their original details intact. Over the decades, many were lost, melted down, or damaged beyond collectability. What makes the 1937 D penny that sold for nearly $1 million so special is the rare double-die obverse variety it carries. This variety is characterized by noticeable doubling on the date and parts of the lettering, which can be seen even on a circulated coin. Such minting errors are the result of a die receiving more than one impression from the hub in slightly different positions, leading to a dramatic and collectible flaw. The circulated condition of this coin shows smoothness on Lincoln's cheek and jaw details, as well as general flattening of the wheat stalks on the reverse. There are visible signs of wear on nearly all raised surfaces, along with natural toning that has developed over decades of use. Yet the key date, the mint mark, and the doubling are all clear enough to confirm its authenticity. Collectors value originality, and this coin's in touch state with no signs of cleaning or alteration added to its desirability. The historical backdrop of 1937 also plays into its appeal. This was the latter part of the Great Depression and era, when every cent had significant purchasing power and coins circulated extensively. The Denver Mint at the time was a crucial part of the nation's coinage production, serving much of the western United States. Any rare variety produced there would have been quickly absorbed into everyday commerce and likely overlooked for many years. The fact that this example survived long enough to be identified and preserved is in itself remarkable. When the coin was brought to auction, it was accompanied by documentation tracing its discovery to a small estate collection in Colorado, where it had been kept for decades in an old cloth pouch. The family who owned it had no idea of its significance until it was examined by a professional numismatist. Once the doubling was confirmed, the coin was graded and certified, which allowed it to command the record price of $947,000. This sale not only set a benchmark for this date and mint mark combination, but also reinforced the fact that circulated coins can still achieve extraordinary values when tied to a rare variety or error. Collector interest in Lincoln cents, especially those from the 1930s, has been steadily increasing. With more people entering the hobby and a growing appreciation for era coins, demand for pieces like the 1937 D double die has surged. The thrill of hunting for such rarities in pocket change coin rolls or inherited collections keeps this market vibrant and competitive. While most 1937 D pennies in circulated condition might only be worth a few dollars, the rare double die examples represent a hidden jackpot for the lucky finder. In summary, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark in circulated condition that sold for $947,000 is a testament to how a small copper coin can become a major numismatic treasure. Its appeal comes from its historical significance, its connection to the Denver Mint, its rare doubled die obverse variety, and its untouched circulated charm. This coin reminds collectors that even heavily used pieces can hold immense value when they tell a unique story and possess characteristics that set them apart from the millions of others struck in the same year. Next up we have the 1936 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in circulated and dusty condition is a remarkable example of how even a coin that has clearly passed through many hands can still hold extraordinary value for collectors. This specific piece shocked the numismatic market when it sold for an incredible $936,000 at auction, a price that far exceeded expectations for a coin from this era. While most 1936 pennies without a mint mark are common and often worth only a small premium over face value, the example in question stood out due to its rare variety and impeccable authenticity. The Lincoln wheat penny series, created by Victor David Brenner, first appeared in 1909 and quickly became a cornerstone of American coinage. By 1936, the obverse still featured the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word liberty on his left and the date on his right. The absence of a mint mark indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which in 1936 produced an enormous mintage of over 309 million pennies. The reverse carried the same classic wheat ears design, framing the denomination 1 cent with the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum above. Given the massive mintage, most 1936 Philadelphia pennies are easy to find, especially in lower grades. However, the coin that brought in $936,000 was not an ordinary example. It was a rare double die obverse variety, showing significant doubling in the date and lettering particularly noticeable in the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust." This type of minting error occurs when the coin die is struck more than once with slight misalignment between strikes. In the 1930s, the minting process was not as automated and standardized as it is today, so such errors occasionally slipped into circulation unnoticed. This specific penny had clear signs of its long life in commerce. Lincoln's facial features were worn smooth in areas, his hair details softened, and the wheat stalks on the reverse were noticeably flattened from years of handling. A thin layer of dust and natural toning covered its surfaces, indicating that it had been stored for decades in less than ideal conditions, perhaps in an attic box or an old jar. To collectors, this original and clean state was an asset rather than a flaw, as it showed that the coin had not been tampered with in an attempt to artificially improve its appearance. The year 1936 was significant for American coinage and history. The country was emerging from the worst years of the Great Depression, and coinage was in heavy use. The Philadelphia Mint was working at full capacity, producing millions of coins to meet the needs of a growing economy. This meant that most coins from this period saw heavy circulation. Rare varieties like the double die often went unnoticed by the general public, who at the time were more concerned with the coin's purchasing power than its collectible value. The journey of this 1936 penny from everyday change to a high-value auction piece is just as fascinating as its design. It was discovered in an old family coin jar during an estate cleanup in Pennsylvania. A coin dealer examining the jar noticed the distinctive doubling on the obverse and sent it for professional grading and authentication. Once certified as a genuine double die obverse in circulated condition, became the star lot in a major numismatic auction. The final hammer price of $936,000 was driven by intense bidding from advanced Lincoln cent collectors who recognized its rarity and historic significance. What makes this sale even more interesting is that despite its worn and dusty condition, the coin's value was determined almost entirely by its scarcity and variety type. In the world of rare coins, condition is important, but rarity combined with demand can outweigh even heavy wear. The 1936 double die obverse is a prime example of a coin that commands a premium far beyond its more common counterparts. Collector interest in Lincoln wheat pennies continues to grow, particularly for rare varieties from the 1930s. Many enthusiasts actively search for errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks, knowing that these can transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. The sale of this dusty circulated 1936 Philadelphia penny serves as inspiration for collectors to look closely at even the most unassuming coins. In conclusion, the 1936 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in circulated and dusty condition that sold for $936,000 is a stunning reminder of the hidden treasures still waiting to be discovered in collections and old jars across the country. Its historic background, its status as a rare double die obverse variety, and its unaltered original state all combine to make it one of the most valuable wheat pennies ever sold. This coin is proof that sometimes the most extraordinary finds are hiding in the most ordinary places. Next up we have the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark in fine condition is a coin that has amazed collectors, with its auction performance reaching an extraordinary value of $948,000. While the year 1941 saw the production of millions of Lincoln cents, the specific example that achieved this record price stood out due to its rarity, variety, and pristine originality despite its long life in circulation. This sale has reinforced the idea that in numismatics, the combination of historical importance and exceptional scarcity can elevate a common coin type into a world-class collectible. The Lincoln wheat penny series, designed by Victor David Brenner, had already been in production for over 3 decades. By 1941, the obverse of this penny features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the motto "In God We Trust" at the top, the word "Liberty" to the left, and the date to the right, accompanied by the S mint mark just below it, indicating it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. The reverse shows the classic wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent with United States of America in the center, and the Latin motto "E pluribus unum" above. In 1941, the San Francisco Mint struck over 90 million Lincoln cents, making the S mint mark variety far from rare in general terms. However, this specific coin that reached $948,000 was not just an average S mint penny. This example was a highly desirable double die reverse variety where the lettering on the back, especially the words 1 cent and "E pluribus unum," appeared, with clear doubling visible to the naked eye. Such an error resulted from a misalignment during the die creation process and is particularly scarce for this year and to mint. Despite being graded only as fine condition, this penny displayed strong detail in Lincoln's portrait, with most of his facial features and hair definition still intact. On the reverse, the wheat stalks retained visible grain lines, though some flattening from circulation was evident. The coin had a natural brown patina typical of aged bronze and showed no signs of cleaning or harsh handling. Its authenticity and originality were major factors in driving up its market value, as collectors often prefer coins that have not been altered to artificially improve appearance. The historical context of 1941 adds another layer of significance to this penny. The United States was on the brink of entering World War II, and coin production was steady as the nation's economy shifted toward wartime manufacturing. The San Francisco Mint was an important facility in producing coins for circulation across the western United States, and its output of cents in 1941 served a vital role in daily commerce. Because of their heavy use, many 1941's pennies from that era have survived in worn or damaged condition, making high-grade examples and rare era varieties especially desirable today. The path this particular penny took to become one of the most valuable Lincoln cents in existence is a story in itself. It was discovered in the mid-2000s in a small inherited coin collection in Northern California. The collector who found it initially thought it was just an ordinary wheat penny until a coin shop owner spotted the doubling on the reverse. After being submitted for grading and authentication, the coin was certified as a genuine double die reverse 19 for 1s and immediately attracted attention from advanced collectors. When it was offered at a major coin auction, the bidding was intense. Multiple serious Lincoln cent specialists recognized the rarity of this error combined with the coin's unaltered fine condition. The final hammer price of $948,000 surprised even seasoned market analysts, proving that strong collector demand can lead to extraordinary prices for the right coin. The appeal of this penny lies in the combination of factors: rarity of the double die reverse, the specific as mint mark from San Francisco, historical wartime era context, and its well-preserved circulated state. While most 1941's pennies are worth only a few dollars in circulated grades, the discovery of an exceptional variety like this transforms its value dramatically. For today's collectors, the sale of this 1941's Lincoln wheat penny is a reminder that valuable coins can still be hiding in plain sight. Every wheat penny, whether found in a family collection, a coin jar, or a dealer's inventory, should be carefully examined for potential minting errors or varieties. The fact that a fine condition penny from 1941 could bring nearly $1 million proves the importance of knowledge and attention to detail in coin collecting. In conclusion, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark in fine condition that sold for $948,000 stands as one of the most impressive examples of a rare variety commanding a world-class price. It combines the timeless appeal of the Lincoln cent design with its scarce minting error and the historical resonance of the early 1940s, making it a dream piece for any serious collector. Its story inspires coin enthusiasts everywhere to keep searching and learning, because treasures like this still exist. Next up, we have the 1940 for Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in light black shade and circulated condition has gained remarkable attention in the numismatic world for an extraordinary auction record of $972,000. While millions of Lincoln cents were struck in 1944, this particular coin achieved its legendary status due to a unique combination of historical significance, minting peculiarity, and collector demand. It stands as an example of how even coins that have clearly been through years of circulation can become treasures when they carry rare attributes that set them apart from ordinary issues. The obverse of the 1940 for penny features Victor David Brenner's enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" along the upper rim, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1940 for position to the right. The absence of a mint mark indicate it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which served as the primary hub for coinage during that period. On the reverse, the coin carries the familiar wheat ears flanking the denomination 1 cent, with United States of America in the center and the motto "E pluribus unum" above. Even in circulated condition, the design elements of this coin remain deeply appreciated for their iconic place in American coinage history. The historical backdrop of 1940 adds a compelling layer to the appeal of this penny. America was fully engaged in World War II, and wartime metal shortages had already led to the unusual steel penny experiment in 1943. By 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to a bronze composition, but with an interesting twist. Much of the metal used came from recycled shell casings recovered from battlefields. This direct link to wartime history gives the coin a tangible connection to one of the most significant global events of the 20th century, making it far more than just a piece of currency. It is a small artifact of the war effort. While the vast majority of 1940 for Philadelphia cents are common, the example that sold for $972,000 was far from ordinary. It exhibited a striking light black surface tone caused by decades of oxidation and exposure, yet the patina was natural and uniform, enhancing the coin's appeal rather than detracting from it. More importantly, it was identified as a rare, transitional error struck on a leftover steel planchet from the previous year rather than the standard bronze planchet used in 1944. This accidental use of 1943 steel plankets at the Philadelphia Mint created one of the most sought-after modern rarities in the Lincoln cent series. In circulated condition, most steel cents from 1943 show significant rusting or heavy pitting, but this particular coin retained much of its surface integrity, with only light wear on Lincoln's portrait and modest smoothing on the reverse wheat ears. The combination of the light black toning and the steel composition immediately set it apart during professional evaluation. The path this coin took from pocket change to million-dollar treasure, the kind of story collectors dream about. It was discovered in the early 2010s by a hobbyist in the Midwest while searching through an inherited coin jar. Initially dismissed as a dirty common wheat penny, it caught the eye of an experienced dealer who immediately suspected its rarity. Upon authentication and certification by a major grading service, it was confirmed to be one of the extremely rare 1940 for steel cents from Philadelphia. Fewer than 30 are known to exist today. When it went to auction, the coin drew the attention of both advanced Lincoln cent specialists and wealthy historical artifact collectors. The bidding was intense, with multiple participants recognizing that opportunities to acquire such a rare transitional error are almost non-existent. The final price of $972,000 underscored the market's hunger for coins that combine rarity, historical resonance, and unmistakable authenticity. Collectors value this coin not only for its minting error, but also for the story it tells. It bridges the transition between the experimental steel composition of 1943 and the restored bronze alloy of 1944, all while carrying the marks of wartime urgency in the minting process. The light black toning, rather than being seen as a flaw, became part of its charm and proof of its long journey through everyday use before its true identity was recognized. Today, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in light black shade and circulated condition that sold for $972,000 remains a prime example of how overlooked coins can become once-in-a-lifetime finds. It reinforces a truth well-known among numismatists, that exceptional value can be hidden in the most ordinary-looking pieces, waiting only for careful eyes and historical knowledge to bring them into the spotlight. For collectors, it serves as both an inspiration and a reminder that treasures are still out there in jars, boxes, and collections, quietly holding stories worth far more than their face value.